They found in somebody's backyard old, like World War II type of stuff. These, what they thought were, possibly live explosives. And they were there for 2 days trying to make sure they were not in any way dangerous. And even then, when they went to move them, they actually put them in very specialized vehicles, because the older it is, and it depends on where it's been kept, but the older it is, if it's gotten wet in the past, if people were keeping stuff in their garage and they didn't know it was there, that stuff they're very, very careful with when they find it, because it's highly volatile. So, not knowing what this is, it brings to mind that if they were moving it like they were in a vehicle, they must have thought that it was safe. There is no indication at this point that this is nothing but an accident. Again, we'll know more at noon, but they're not acting like it is anything beyond that, as tragic as it is in whatever it is. But it definitely doesn't happen often. Like I said, the last time it happened was 39 years ago, and in North Hollywood. So it's tragic. It truly is, but it's going to be something that they're going to be looking at. That's why everybody's descending here. ATF, every agency, federal, state, they're coming here, because whenever something like this happens, they all want to find out what happened, because they learned from it too.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, like I said, they've been picking up a lot of fireworks in busts lately. Sometimes they bring them here, and sometimes that stuff has been kept in really bad conditions by whoever was keeping them. Or, maybe it was something that somebody found in their garage. We don't know. We don't know. We'll know at noon, though. Hopefully.
Yes, thank you so much, Christina.
They may not know yet.
Right.
They may not know. They may have a log. That's the other thing. Whenever they transport anything, even within the facility, there is a log. You do not move any kind of ordnance like that without writing it down. We're moving this from here to there, so people know where things are, because you need to. So they probably know what they picked up, or what they thought they were picking up, and what they were doing with it. Now, the question as to why it went off, that's probably going to take a while. Back to you.
That's right. We don't know what that evidence they were carrying is or was, and certainly that's under investigation. But we did talk to Hal Kempfer earlier this morning, who is a law enforcement expert, and he did mention that any type of explosive, you don't know how volatile or unstable it is. It really depends on where it was kept, what kind of condition it is, and obviously these experts who are handling all of this have to take that into account, and it could be really unstable, especially if it's from an unknown source, meaning they perhaps got it from an investigation or a different type of seizure. Someone else was holding it and transporting it or storing it. So all of these questions certainly up in the air at this point, but clearly, unfortunately, there's no 100% safety measure when handling dangerous explosives like this.
Let's get out to Mario Ramirez. He is near the scene, and he's got some more details for us. Mario. Mario, can you hear us?
Where that?
Okay.
All right, in the meantime.
Hey guys, we're at Eastern and Mariana. We are here. We're talking about what we're seeing here on the ground. We've been talking to workers and residents. At one point, there was some concern about evacuating the area, but the sheriff's deputies alerting everybody here at this intersection that there was no public threat and that it was safe to remain inside. So we've still got plenty of people working in the area as this is all happening. I want to bring in Massimo. He's a resident. He's been here living at the home for about 3 years, right near this training center. Walk me through this morning when this happened. You were at home, and walk me through what you...
I was at home. I was like relaxing, making some breakfast when everybody started calling me. They said there was like a earthquake, like an explosion, or what? No, I haven't heard anything like that. I turned around the news and everybody's talking about the facility over here, the sheriff's department. 3 sheriffs got dead. It's so sad.
Yeah, that's right. 3 sheriff's deputies, another one injured, sent to the hospital. So am I understanding that some people thought it might have been an earthquake or they felt something?
There was a person who told me there was an earthquake. I said, I haven't felt anything like that. I'm always with my dog right now. I see all this. It's like pretty sad.
Yeah, and what do you think to hear that there's a training center where this all happened? The LA County Sheriff's deputies involved, 3 unfortunately lost their lives here. We're still working to get more information, but what's your reaction as someone who lives right next door?
No, first I feel so bad for the sheriff. It's so bad to hear that next to me. In the other thing, you're like a kind of worried because my property is next to them. It's kind of, you worry a little bit. But I worry more for their life, for people.
Yeah, and before I let you go, what street are you on, and is it blocked? You're able to get home?
It's Blanchard Street. Yeah, my house is next to the facility.
Okay, no closure there right now?
It's close. So not to the facility because there is like a big hill, but over there on top is their property.
Right. Okay. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you talking to us. Yes. So we are hearing from some people who are not able to get back to their properties, and I want to show you a little bit more of the scene here. Again, sheriff's deputies, we've been watching those emergency vehicles. We heard someone say, FBI, let us through, and they went right up to the training center, which is about maybe a half a mile, a quarter mile up the road from this intersection. We know that explosion went off at about 7:25 this morning, reported at the Biscaloo Center Academy training, and it appears to have happened while explosive materials were being transported. So not necessarily a training exercise that was taking place when this all happened. The Sheriff's Information Bureau this morning confirming that it did happen, that explosion on the 10,000 block of Eastern Avenue. And we saw that Sheriff's SUV with blown out windows. This facility serving as a full-scale training center for the LA County Sheriff's Department. And of course, we know so many across the region are just learning about this news. 3 killed, another injured, and there could be possibly more information about additional injuries. So very sad news as we continue to learn more and as the scene develops here in this part of East Los Angeles. Back to you.
All right, that's right, Mario. Thank you so much. I know a lot of residents in the area were concerned, some hearing the explosion early this morning and some just trying to make their way through the residents and the neighborhood, trying to get to elderly parents. At one point, Mario spoke with somebody trying to get through. So they have hardened the perimeter, but also have made exceptions and leeway for areas where residents do, in fact, want to get to their neighborhoods and their loved ones in that area without impacting the investigation at this point, because a lot of federal, state, local personnel coming into that area for the investigation as this continues. But certainly this is going to be a very active scene for quite some time, as we don't know the answers to everything that unfolded this morning. We're like taking a look at the aerial shot of Skyfox, providing us the view and the vantage point of the campus this training facility sits on, right there in East LA, where this tragedy unfolded. And unfortunately, 3 sheriff deputies losing their lives this morning, and 1 also injured after transporting dangerous explosives there on the scene. So certainly we are going to stay on top of this, as again, you're seeing law enforcement personnel from all over flooding the area as they continue to come out in support and also to determine this investigation as it plays out.
Certainly a lot of heavy hearts there at the department, and not only do they have to grieve, but also they have to launch their investigation, which is going to take some time. And of course, we will keep you posted. There is a news conference that's set for 11:45 about this.
That's right, and of course we're going to continue our live coverage of this breaking news story on this Friday. We're going to continue our coverage here on Fox 11 Plus.
Fox 11, the ones to watch.
Dupixent helps people with asthma breathe better. So this is better. That too. Dupixent's an add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma. Some people felt their asthma symptoms improve in as little as 3 days. Dupixent's not for sudden breathing problems. It helps prevent asthma attacks. Severe allergic reactions, including skin reactions, can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor right away of signs of inflamed blood vessels like rash, chest pain, worsening shortness of breath, brown or dark colored urine, tingling or numbness in limbs. Tell your doctor of new or worsening skin symptoms, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. When you can get more out of your lungs, you can do more with less asthma. And isn't that better? Ask your doctor about Dupixent, the most prescribed biologic in asthma. Also approved as an add-on treatment for adults with COPD that is not well controlled and with a specific marker of inflammation.
If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, Sweet James will make insurance companies pay.
Are you through? I'm just warming up.
From the firm that's won over $1 billion for their clients comes Sweet Justice with Sweet James.
If you take or have taken Humira for moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis and still have symptoms, you don't have to settle. Ask your gastroenterologist if switching to Rinvoq is right for you. It's one of the latest treatments from the makers of Humira. Rinvoq works differently than Humira and may help. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that can deliver rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission, and helps visibly reduce damage of the intestinal lining.
Rinvoq can lower ability to fight infections. Before treatment, test for TB and do blood work. Serious infections, blood clots, some fatal, cancers including lymphoma and skin, serious allergic reactions, GI tears, death, heart attack, and stroke occurred. CV event risk increases in age 50 plus with a heart disease risk factor. Tell your doctor if you've had these events: infection, Hep B or C, smoked, are pregnant, or planning. Don't take if allergic or have an infection.
Rapid symptom relief and lasting steroid-free remission are possible with Rinvoq. Ask your gastroenterologist if switching to Rinvoq is right for you. You could pay as little as $0 per month.
If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, Sweet James will make insurance companies pay.
Are you through? I'm just warming up.
From the firm that's won over $1 billion for their clients comes Sweet Justice with Sweet James.
Home to the FIFA World Cup 2026. The world's biggest soccer event is on Fox Sports. We are Fox.
Yesterday, defending champions England secured their place in the semi-finals of the Women's Euros, beating Sweden in the most brilliantly awful penalty shootout in Zurich. It was crazy. Today's quarter-final takes place in Bern, and Spain are hoping to avoid a repeat of their last Euros when they lost to England at this stage. The World Cup...
I was just dying because I literally, 35 seconds. No. Walk right in. Really? That's free. Really good. This place and what was wild is the entree we got was split, which you would never think of. Like a chicken dish. And but it was over this like thick piece of bread and like bread. Right. And I have a bite of it. I've never it's all to do $30, but they're like $5 at Home Depot. Oh, the Home Depot. Yeah, I got great. I had one like this. Wow, I wonder if they have it. time I see them at Home Depot, I buy them for like they're literally $5. Yeah, dude, that's literally that's like my house. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, like the one time. It's expensive and it's like old and not if that makes sense. No, yeah, it's very like kind of stuck in like 50 days. Yeah, and it's a little. It's just if it was busier, I'd be
County
like, oh,
fire
this is
chief.
awesome. But it's not that. It feels like a neighborhood restaurant, you know, where it's like the people that live here and know. We're still looking at S&P. Yep. Still there. Yeah, we can ride down my street and I don't know what to do. But yeah, no.
There's so much turnover there, like I don't know anybody hardly.
Why? I like it. I like the food.
Nobody liked our captain. He's gone now, so people will probably stay.
Captain Heat?
Yeah.
They've got a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where does your girlfriend live?
He knows.
She lives in.
He knows more.
You know where that is? Yeah. She's like, so she's like, it's a good central location. Yeah. It's like, so walk. Right.
Lot more about, and also some of the damage that's going on. When you talk about a huge explosion, especially one taking the life of 3 deputies, you'd think that there'd be a huge debris field, busted out windows. Apparently not so much on this one. Don't know what type of explosion it was, but Christina Gonzalez talking to somebody almost a mile away, talking about the heavy concussion that they heard. And then, of course, reverberation. That means that echo effect. So this was a big explosion, a lot of movement of air. What I'm showing you right there in the center of the screen, we believe to be something from that group when this explosion happened. Maybe a backpack, maybe something else, but believe me that was basically thrown into the back of the window of that SUV right there. You can see a little bit of glass on the ground. I have to excuse the quality of the pictures, but believe me, this is the best we can do. They have us up at 5,500 feet looking down at this location. So that's about the only other damage that we have seen out here since we arrived. We don't see a lot of broken glass, but we do know it did take the life of those 3 deputies. Now the investigation, very slow moving, like I've said. This started right around 7:25. That's when the fire station over here, LA County Fire, said we heard an explosion. We're going to go investigate. So it's been a couple of hours, and right now is the time where they are starting that slow and meticulous investigation on exactly what happened. That group that you see there, they're the ones that are actually going to do that investigation. And again, possibly, we can't say for sure because we are at 5,500 feet, but I would venture to say it's going to be the Sheriff's Department, LAPD, FBI, ATF, and then maybe even Homeland Security in there. They're all going to start doing this investigation because they want to make sure whatever happened here never happens again. We lose no law enforcement over something that might have been able to avoid, especially some type of explosion. Now, there's been talk, because this is a training facility out here, this is the Biscaloo training facility, they've been saying that this was some sort of training exercise. Well, we don't really know that for sure. What we do know, there was an explosion. Were they moving explosives? Did they know this? All those type of questions, hopefully some of them will be answered in the 12 o'clock hour. But right now, I can tell you the investigation very slow moving, very methodical out here. And LA County Fire, they've been here since that explosion happened. They're going to probably be here till it's over. Also, we know for a fact from the past that this involves the death of deputies. Those 3 deputies, you know there's going to be respect and also maybe a procession. So this is going to be going on for quite some time. Again, though, our hearts go out to the family members, the direct family members, and of course the law enforcement, also losing 3 of their own today. And this area basically been an area where everybody's been very focused, working on a common goal to figure out what happened, make this not happen ever again, and then of course also grief over the loss of those 3 deputies. I'm not sure if you guys are in the other studio as of yet, but if you are, please let me know. Yes. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep on. Okay, you guys are there. Sorry, I didn't know, but please go ahead and take it from here.
Yes, you were first on the scene overhead as this happened, 7:30 this morning. We heard all the commotion in the newsroom when you got the initial call, Stu. And then as this played out, I mean, you know firsthand, there was that temporary flight restriction overhead because of the sensitive nature of this involving 3 deputies at the time. We didn't know how many people were impacted by the explosion that took place, and clearly this was such a sensitive situation, a tragic one indeed. You were on top of it, though, right away when the news broke earlier this morning. So you have been there flying overhead, showing us these shots, and obviously paying very close attention to the sensitivity and the nature of this, not showing the repercussions of that tragedy and the explosion there, being very sensitive to the location of where the explosion detonated. So we want to be mindful of that there are restrictions in place. We want to be sensitive to the nature of this and, of course, the investigation as it plays out, as we pay our respects, of course, to the law enforcement officials who have been impacted by all of this. But you can see just how much personnel, as you've been mentioning, Stu, have responded to the scene and to this tragedy right there. We're talking all the way up from the federal, state and local divisions of law enforcement as they support each other and come together in a unified command to respond to what exactly happened here. And we're hoping to get more answers in just under 10 minutes. As you were mentioning, we are waiting a press conference at 11:45. That's going to be taking place. We have Christina Gonzalez there on the ground to tell us what exactly is happening and playing out, as sheriff deputies are expected to make their first official statement as to what exactly played out and what happened this morning.
You know, as we try to get answers, the answers are limited, but there's more and more questions. This is how it goes with incidents like this. And we have to keep in mind that since this occurred right before 7:30 this morning at 7:25, since then, the 3 individuals, the 3 deputies who lost their lives are still there at this location, right? They still have not, their bodies still have not been recovered. The coroner, I don't know if the coroner is even there on the ground yet, perhaps, but they are still there where this incident happened. Stu and Skyfox have been very careful and mindful of that fact, and being careful in how we pan, how we zoom in, because we know exactly where this occurred. So we're keeping a distance and being mindful and respectful of the 3 deputies who lost their lives. The 1 deputy who was transported to a hospital, we are still waiting to get information as far as what the condition is of this deputy, or if it was also a deputy. So we have to be mindful of the fact that as this is an investigation with a number of law enforcement and federal officials on the ground trying to uncover what happened, and this is changing and developing as the morning goes on. At the same time, it's also a tragic scene here. So they're dealing with the aftermath, the cleanup, the mystery of what happened, as well as mourning the loss of what happened, all in one. So lots of emotions there on the ground, Stu. We were talking with Christina Gonzalez a little bit ago, and she mentioned that, 4th of July wasn't that long ago. And yes, as always, there are always fireworks that people use. We don't know if this was one of those circumstances, but there are reports that perhaps this was some type of an explosive device which they were handling, right? And perhaps they didn't think it was as dangerous as it was. This is something that an official said was recovered yesterday, so it's something they were handling. But again, with dealing with risky and dangerous components like this, you just never know what can happen. Highly trained people obviously work under these circumstances. This is a highly trained facility. They take every precaution necessary and possible, but it could have perhaps been something where they didn't think it was dangerous.
And as we talk to some retired federal law enforcement officials and law enforcement officials with experience in handling these dangerous explosives, we do know that, of course, as you were mentioning, they're highly trained as well as very mindful of the fact that any type of explosive material they're handling could be unstable, could be volatile. You don't know the shape it's in, especially if it's an evidentiary material, something they got from a scene somewhere else that you don't know how it was stored or kept or what kind of elements it was enduring. So clearly all of those questions
or how old it is.
That's right. And hopefully we'll learn more in just a few minutes. Let's go to Mario, who is on the ground there around the perimeter of the facility. Mario?
Anna, we can tell you for the first time they're starting to let vehicles up here that are not emergency vehicles, and that's because they're preparing for a news conference in about 20 minutes or so, and some of the media now being allowed up to set up for that at the training facility where 3 L.A. County Sheriff's deputies unfortunately lost their lives. The L.A. Fire Department calling this a preliminary training accident. We know the FBI Los Angeles office has now responded. The L.A. County Sheriff's Department Bomb Squad and the ATF, they're starting a thorough investigation after that explosion around 7:30 this morning, reported at the Biscaloo Center Academy training, also known as the Biscaloo Academy. This is where training happens. The facility serving as a full-scale training center for the L.A. County Sheriff's Department, and it's a huge department, nearly 10,000 sworn deputies employing about 18,000 people, and many are just finding out about this tragic news here out of the East Los Angeles area. 3 again killed after that explosion, and 1 person who was injured and taken to a hospital. We're told federal agents are working to learn more information on the scene right now. Again, that investigation just getting underway, and we've been talking to residents out here throughout the morning near this roadblock, as well as workers. They have not been allowed up, at least residents, because of this hard closure about half a mile, maybe a quarter mile down the road from where that facility is located. We can also tell you that that news conference, that is where we're expected to learn more information, and we'll of course bring that to you as soon as it happens. We'll send it back to you in the studio for now.
All right, Mario, we appreciate you being out there this morning and providing as much information as you can and speaking to people there who work in the area or live in the area. And we did hear some people describing what sounded like a really deep, loud explosion
at this reverberated.
Yes, there's this like echoing type of a thing. But we also heard from people who work in the area but work in very loud facilities, and so they're used to obviously being in near a training camp, and they're used to hearing noise, so perhaps it didn't quite register with them.
But they did say that this was unusual. It was not the normal sounds that they hear from the facility as those officers train. So it was kind of eye-opening for some who heard it and felt it, who were living nearby.
Caught their attention, that's for sure. All right, let's go to Christina Gonzalez right now. She's there waiting for this news conference to begin shortly. Actually, any minute now, right, Christina?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we understand. And if you can take the mix minus out of my ear, please. But what we have is we're being told that the sheriff himself will be the only one speaking here today. As a matter of fact, let me get out of the way because I believe we are beginning to get some of the brass arriving. He's going to have quite a few people with him, but he is going to be the only one speaking. At this point, we are at the base. You can see also the ATF and explosion and fire investigation trucks that are coming in at the base of the facility. As I told you, ATF is out here, one of several agencies that is going to be helping in this investigation. Whenever something like this happens, you actually have help from other agencies. But the entire command staff is coming here. You can see them hugging. This is not a happy occasion. Needless to say, people are pretty upset about it. 3 deputies have passed away. 1 is in the hospital. And yes, we're supposed to begin at noon. The sheriff will be speaking to us. We have heard words of who the 3 people are, but we are not releasing any names at this point, waiting for everybody, families to be notified. But again, at noon, they're supposed to be speaking and letting us know a little bit more. Hold on a second. Okay, so the sheriff is walking this way. He was actually up at the location where the explosion was. He was getting information from the investigators over there, and that is literally up the hill from where we are. So he is walking down. You might be able to see him from the helicopter, as a matter of fact. But He will be the only one speaking at today's press conference. I'm waiting for him to arrive. As soon as he arrives, of course, we will go live to that. I can tell you this is a very, very rare occurrence. Last time something like this happened in our city in 1986, out in North Hollywood. Bomb specialists working on a device at a home they had found, and 2 people died. Since then, they made a lot of changes, and you've seen a lot of the times when we respond to these things, they actually have robots, and they have x-rays that those robots take to make sure that anything they're working on is rendered safe. We didn't see any of that here, which seems to indicate, at least preliminarily, is that they were transporting something that they thought was safe. But again, we don't know. But here is the sheriff. He is walking up. And I'm going to get out of the way. Let's see if he starts talking and what he tells us. You can see them all hugging one another, though, before. This is really hard for them. It really, really difficult. He is first walking over to talk, to say hello to some of the other people who have been here. This is the command staff of the Sheriff's Department. And LAPD is showing up. That's the chief to show his condolences. Other agencies are letting them know that they're also grieving for them, and this happens in this kind of case. But
we're
waiting for Sheriff Luna to walk up to the podium, which she is expected to do at any moment, surrounded by LAPD Chief McDonald and others. Let's hear what he has to say. We're ready for you, Sheriff. Thank you.
Well, good morning to everybody, and I want to thank you for being here, and your patience in waiting for us. We've been very busy, as you can imagine, over the last several hours. I'll be the only one speaking today, and I'll be answering your questions after I speak. But if you look around me, the team that I have, that I'm surrounded by, members of the board, my partner, Jim McDonald from the LAPD, Tony Maroney from LA County Fire, CHP. I could go on, and I'll talk about some of that as we go on. So it is a somewhat of a beautiful day today weather-wise, but there's definitely a black cloud hanging over the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and our county family. This morning, shortly after 7:30 a.m., an explosion occurred at our Special Enforcement Bureau, arson explosives detail facility located in the 1000 block of Northeastern Avenue in East Los Angeles, which is right behind this hill. Tragically, there were 3 sworn members who were fatally killed that were assigned to our arson explosives detail. No other department members were injured or transported to any hospitals. This is, unfortunately, the largest loss of life for us as the LA County Sheriff's Department since 1857. Between all 3 sworn members, they had served our community proudly for 74 years, and that's amongst all 3 of them collectively. 19 years, 22 years, and 33 years. And at this point, we are not giving out their names. One of the reasons it took me a while to get out here, one of my priorities is the families of our deputies. And I've met with several of them this morning. There are still others who are on their way. There are others who have not been notified. The last thing I want to do is them to turn on the news and find out that way. So thank you for respecting that at this point. My second priority were our employees. Our employees are hurting right now. Members of our Special Enforcement Bureau, other members of our arson detail as well, arson explosives detail. In regards to the details of what happened, I'm going to give you what I have right now. There's a lot more that we don't know than what we do know. But our intent is to look at this from the very beginning and figure out what is it exactly that caused this tragic event. Currently, our homicide detectives are on scene, and they are investigating the deaths that are we are being assisted by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, who are investigating the post-blast portion of this incident. You have seen other vehicles other than FBI. You've seen the ATF here. They will be assisting the FBI as well. I am very grateful to the bomb squad of the Los Angeles Police Department, and I mentioned Chief Jim McDonald standing behind me here. They immediately came out to assist after this explosion occurred to render the devices safe. And just so all of you know, they were just rendered safe within the last minutes, right before we walked out here. So it was still an active scene. It wasn't stable, and definitely a very active crime scene as we go forward. At this time, we do not know the cause of the explosion. However, the specific area has been closed off due to the ongoing investigation. We believe there is no threat to this community. Actually, I could tell you there is no threat to this community. This is an isolated incident. And again, no threats. We have road closures, Eastern Boulevard between Blatchard Street and Lotta Drive. And again, I do want to thank all of our local partners, our local elected officials that are here to help us get through this very difficult time. We have our Psychological Services Bureau personnel on scene that are assisting our employees at this moment, along with peer counseling and chaplain services. And as I said earlier, I have met with 2 of the 3 families thus far. And as you can imagine, those were extremely challenging conversations. So anyways, ready for questions.
Sheriff, what was the material that they were actually dealing with? What type of an item? Improvised explosives, military explosives? The second question, what were the attempts to remove it, transport it, or render it safe here on the spot?
Those are all good questions that Pete just asked. Now that the investigation has started, now that the investigators can actually get in to the scene that it was just rendered safe, we will be able to answer all those questions. Too early right now to be able to answer that.
Were there other military style or military grade explosives nearby that were rendered safe by the LAFD?
We will know that hopefully in the next couple of hours.
Sir, were they moving these explosives from one place to another? Were they investigating existing explosives already in the facility? Or what were they doing?
All these questions are really good questions, and they're the questions that we have as well. The investigation is just about to get started on all this, and these are all the questions that we're going to want answers to, and we'll get them. But simply, right now, I wanted to get out here. I know all of you have been waiting for a while. I'm giving you the information I have, and we're not there yet. Thank you.
Can you say something in Spanish for us, please?
Let's wait for the English, and then we'll do the Spanish afterward, if that's okay.
Sure. We heard that someone was injured as well and taken to the hospital. Are you able to say the status of that person?
Earlier, we had 3 fatalities of our employees, which I call heroes. Are very heroic in the work that they do. We had no other injuries other than the 3 fatalities. And just so all of you know, the members of this team, I've heard over and over the word elite being used. I think sometimes that term gets overused. But if you're familiar with our Special Enforcement Bureau, they're the best of the best. And the individuals who work our arson explosives detail, they have years of training. And these members, usually the average calls that they go to in dealing with some very dangerous situations or items average about 1,100 per year. So these aren't people who don't do this very often. They are fantastic experts. And unfortunately, I lost 3 of them today.
Sheriff, regarding what happened here, why were the materials brought back to the possibility that they were stationary? Normal protocol would be to take the shot, why were they brought back to the why was it not done out there?
Those are all questions, Pete, that we're going to get to. We need to go from A to Z to know exactly what happened. That's why we have our partners here from the Federal Bureau of Investigation that will be conducting the post-blast. There'll be a lot of details coming out there eventually. ATF is here to assist them, the National Response Team. These are individuals that have a lot of expertise in what they do. And again, all the questions being asked, very good questions. But if I waited to get the answers to those, I'd be here probably in 2 days. And I'm just trying to get out here in front of all of you. The question is, are we anticipating a procession for our 3 heroic deputies who passed away? And the answer to that is yes. There will be a procession. I don't have any specific information on that, but it'll happen the next several hours. I don't have the answers to those questions yet. And again, getting out here, trying to be out here at this time to inform all of you, our community, to know what we know at this time was very important. Again, all of you are amazing. You're asking very important questions, and we're going to get the answers, I think, to, if not everything, to most of them, but we just simply don't have that information at this time. There is currently an investigation going on to determine what happened from the very beginning to the end. I know everybody wants answers. Please understand, we just rendered the scene safe. Within the last 30 minutes, the LAPD bomb squad rendered the scene safe. We have to go back, investigate what happened from the very beginning, and we'll get there. Just not going to happen this soon. I would be very irresponsible to try and answer a lot of these questions without the information that I need to positively give you facts, and I don't have the facts at this point.
Sheriff, we understand that you're telling us everything you can tell us, and we understand we got to wait. By when, roughly, you think you can have another press conference to tell us more information?
We'll, through our Sheriff's Information Bureau, we'll put something out in the next couple of hours of when we would have more information. But I'm going to tell you right now, based on my experience, when we're conducting these type of investigations, it doesn't take hours to get some of this information. It takes days and weeks. We do not rush this investigation. We want to make sure that we're extremely thorough. Ladies and gentlemen, we lost 3 lives, and we want to make sure we know what happened. We don't want to repeat for this. And again, all the questions that are being asked are very legitimate. There are other law enforcement agencies who have bomb techs, not only around the country, around the world, that want to know what happened here. So we want to make sure that no one else, we don't repeat this, right? So thorough investigation will be done by multiple agencies, and we'll get back to you about it. It sounds like everything is repeat questions about the incident. I can't answer any of those right now because we don't have those facts yet. So with that, thank you all, and then we'll keep you updated on any progress on anything else. Appreciate each and every one of you. God bless you.
All right, you have been listening there to Sheriff Robert Luna talking about what happened, and he said something really important. He said, up until the point I came out here to have this press conference, the scene was still very much an active scene.
Yeah, they just rendered it safe minutes before that press conference. And interesting to note, this is the largest loss of life for the department since 1857, and the combined experience of those who were lost in this 73 years. So these were professionals who were seasoned and trained, and unfortunately this tragic accident happened.
So at least 3 deputies we can confirm lost their lives during this incident when they were handling some kind of an explosive device and the blast occurred. This was just before 7:30 this morning. We have been covering this incident since we got word of it. Our hearts, our thoughts, of course, not only go out to the department and the community because it's a big loss, but also to the friends and family. And the sheriff did mention he did just speak with two families who lost someone. So it's definitely, there's a dark cloud over Los Angeles this morning.
That's right. And of course, this is just all going to play out in the next few hours or so as the investigation gets underway. Very few answers he was giving in terms of what exactly happened at 7:30 this morning in terms of the detonation and how it all unfolded. But of course, we're going to stay on top of this and follow the procession for those fallen deputies throughout the day. For now, let's bring you back to regular programming, but stay tuned to Fox 11 later this evening.
Today, I think. How's Rumble doing? Good? Good. If Rumble's doing good, that means Truth is doing